A cupcake with bright frosting appears against a white background. It hops forward and gasps as it discovers 3 muffin pans that exactly look like braille cells. 7 more brightly colored cupcakes appear. At the whistled command of the original cupcake, hop into the various muffin holes to form the braille letters TBK. The muffin tins are replaced by the Blind Kitchen logo, green braille letters TBK on a white background. Fade to black.
Hello, and welcome to the Blind Kitchen, where everyone gets a seat at the table. I'm your host, Deborah Erickson, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the Blind Kitchen straining system. In culinary school, the class I took that I really learned a lot in was making soups and sauces. Really enjoyed that one. And one of the things I learned that if you want a smooth, velvety sauce, you have to make sure that all the food particles suspended in a liquid are removed. It's hard to do that when you can't see. Even if you use a colander or a strainer, sometimes little bits of stuff can get through it. The Blind Kitchen has come up with a system to help make straining that liquid very easy and can be done cleanly. Now in front of me, I have a work tray. And on the work tray is a 32-ounce mason canning jar, which is what I'm going to need for this. Then there is a canning funnel, and there's also a large cheesecloth bag. To the right of my tray is the sauce I want to strain, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But the last thing that I'm going to use for this demonstration is I have a rubber band on my wrist. So the sauce that I have here, what I did was last night I roasted a whole lot of vegetables, root vegetables, tomatoes, tossed them in a little bit of olive oil, and then when they were done roasting, I used my slotted spoon to take out the bigger chunks of food, but I know that there is still food suspended in this liquid. I'm wanting to make a buttery marinara sauce, and so that is my goal, is to get all of those pieces out so it comes out perfectly velvety smooth. And here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put the canning jar in front of me. I'm going to open up that cheesecloth bag that came with your collection, and I am going to make sure that I put it inside the jar. Now I'm holding on to the top of the opening, but I'm pushing the bottom of the bag through because I don't want to drop it in the jar. I want the bag to be overhang the neck of it or the mouth of the jar so that when I pour liquid into it, the bag will still be standing up, if you will, in the jar. And to make sure it stays in place, I'm taking this rubber band off of my wrist and I'm putting it around the neck of the bottle. That way I know that bag is not going anywhere. It's going to stay right where it's at. Now, also included with your straining set collection was a canning funnel. And a canning funnel differs from other funnels in that the opening where the liquid will come out of after you've poured it in the top is quite large. In fact, it's pretty much the same size as the canning jar. It's used for canning, so these work very well together. But because you're using the funnel, because it's going to give you a bigger target than the mouth of the jar would. So now I'm going to reach over. I'm going to be very careful to do this over a work tray, just in case I do have a spill. I don't anticipate it, but stuff happens. So I'm taking the lid off the jar, and now I'm going to hold the jar with my right hand, the jar of sauce, and my left hand is looking for the funnel and the other jar, and I'm able to find it. Now, the other important thing I need to say is that I am going to have my index finger of the hand that's holding the funnel to be checking all the time because this liquid might be pretty thick. It might take a little while for it to be able to be squeezed through the cheesecloth. And in fact, I often have to help it. So I'm just going to keep checking because I don't want the contents of this jar that is empty right now on the table to overflow to get to the lid height. So I'm just going to keep monitoring that. So now I'm coming near the top of the canning jar. I'm pouring into the funnel. And there's some liquid in there. That's pretty good. Okay, and for the sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there, but I'm checking with my finger and it's nowhere near the top. And now I'm going to go ahead and shake off my funnel a little bit. I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna put it on the top left of my work tray so it's out of the way. So now the trick is to get the bag out of the bottle without making a mess. So the first thing I need to do is remove the rubber band from the lid. And if it's messy, I'm gonna put it in a place where I can clean it, but this time it is not messy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it right back on my wrist so I can keep track of it. I don't want it ending up in the sauce. So now, once I remove the bag, I'm gathering it all at the top really smoothly and carefully, and I'm lifting slowly, and I'm squeezing the bag as I'm lifting it out of the jar. I'm wanting any food that's suspended in that liquid will now be caught up in these tiny, tiny holes that this bag has. So I can feel there is definitely some solid food in there. I want to get the juice out of it, not the food, and so I'm squeezing it. Now I need to get rid of the food in the bag, and I can do that in several ways. One, I could put it into my garbage bowl, or I could dump the food into the garbage pan or down the drain, or compost it even if I want to. But what is important is that these bags are reusable. So right now I'm going over my garbage bowl, which is on the left. I am putting my fingers towards the bottom of the bag. That's pretty gross, but it'll still do the trick. And I am turning that bag inside out and dumping that food that I don't want into the garbage bag. And I'm cleaning it out. And so now I do have this dirty cheesecloth bag, but it's reusable. I'm just gonna throw it into the kitchen laundry, and it's gonna be good to use for many times. We hope that the Blind Kitchen straining system makes your soups and sauces as velvety as can be. And until next time, happy cooking.
She smiles towards the camera. Fade to black. The Blind Kitchen logo appears. Fade to black. Nayo Creative Productions logo appears. The logo fades to black.